Good morning, A to Z Sports morning show. It's Third String Thursdays, as you all have so kindly named the show. Still disagree with the name. I really think that once Daniel Caribbean, from the top rope out of the gates, I like that Austin said today would be Third String Thursday. I don't know who second string is, so it's a disrespectful name. I do think, JT, that once we get to the Texans game, you and I will be live from the Landshark Bar and Grill. By the way, that announcement yesterday, super excited. I know that you guys let the people know that we'll be live each and every Sunday for the game day shows at the Landshark Bar and Grill, second floor of the Margaritaville Broadway Bar in downtown. Hope to see you all there. You and I will be hosting the game day show when the Titans are at Houston in week 4. That is going to probably be Second String Sundays, and that will be an appropriate name. Third String Thursdays is nice alliteration, but I do not know what it means. We're here nonetheless, and we've got a great show for you guys. Looking forward to talking about some work that I did yesterday. Basically spent my entire day yesterday trying to get to the bottom of why the Titans can't finish games, because they have been outscored. I really should go pull it up here in a second while we're doing an ad read or something. They've been outscored by 90 some odd points in the fourth quarter since the beginning of 2024. It's been bad. You all have been here. You've seen it. Why is that? It's not just why are the Titans losing? But more specifically, why are they going from losing to losing really badly? What's going on there? Why can't this team finish? What is it physically? What is it mentally? Where does the talent come into play? Where does the coaching come into play? Where does the quarterback play come into play? There are a lot of variables here, and we've got a ton to cover. I want to talk about killer instinct, what that means, who has it, who doesn't. I want to talk about the 5 reasons that I boiled down my research yesterday to, the 5 reasons why the Titans can't finish. Want to hear from everybody in the audience about what they think the biggest obstacle in the way of the Titans finishing games is. Not just getting wins. That's the ultimate goal. But step 1 is let's finish strong. You can finish strong in a loss, and then eventually you finish strong your way to a win. So much to cover. We've got a great show. Nickelback is here. JT Runke is here. Stick around. We'll be right back. JT, tell them about... Sorry, I went into SNL mode there for a minute. Tell the folks what they need to do before we get started today.
Yeah, good morning, A to Z crew. Good to see all of you guys in the chat here this morning. We'll start off with Scott. Good morning there. Bork says B-Team Thursdays are back. It's still a backhanded comment, but it's at least better. So I'll take it where I can.
It's at least accurate. It doesn't roll off the tongue. We're workshopping it. I don't know.
We're workshopping it. Like the show. Make sure you're subscribed. Like Bustin' Diamond said, show has been liked. Thank you for your service there, Bustin' Diamond. I just totally did that backwards. NM Titan right there. Good morning, Titan fam. Good to see all of you guys. Ronald, good morning. Rooney, good morning. Good to see all of you guys here in the chat. Excited for today's conversation because, yeah, I agree with you. And I was watching alongside you doing all of your research yesterday. Good to see the Titans address this, I think, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue to try to fix this and how they try to, I guess, build on top of this and get better. And so Dylan asks, what time do I need to be at the Landshark Sunday, boys? That's a great question.
Indeed.
Easton, I should probably know this, but I'll be at the stadium. But since you'll be there, do you want to let the people know what time that'll be?
Well, the pregame show starts around 11:30 for noon kickoffs. Obviously, the Titans play a number of West Coast games, so for those games, because the late games can start at 3 or 3:05 or 3:10 or 3:15 or 3:20. We'll start roughly around 2:30, 2:40 Nashville time. But for the noon games, I would be there if you want to catch the pregame show, which of course you would want to. I'd make my way to downtown probably around 11. Make sure you got a little cushion for parking. There are plenty of easy parking solutions nearby. You don't have to walk far, but you never know getting downtown. And then you want to get a table, probably want to get your order in, be comfortable, have a drink in your hand, something to munch on as soon as we get rolling at 11:30, and then all the kickoffs happen at noon.
Yeah, Austin comes in the chat with yet another backhanded comment, which I believe is backhanded, and this is just not like verbatim. Austin says he'll get there around 10:45 in Easton on EST. That stands for Easton Standard Time, if you guys did not know that. He'll be there around 11:05. So
it's not even backhanded. That's front-handed. It's just an insult.
I will I'll be at Nissan Stadium, but I can't lie. I am excited to join you guys when the Titans go on the road against the Texans. One more comment before we officially start the show. I apologize, but I think this is a first stab at a different name than Third String Thursday. Nas number 9 said Third Down Thursdays. Big third down, big show today on Thursdays.
Hey, this is a big third down right here.
Hey,
big third down.
Thursday show on today. So,
all right, let's get it started officially. Welcome in to the A to Z Sports Morning Show, live on a Thursday morning, powered by BTA Sports. We're live every weekday morning at 8:10 Central Time, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links tweeted out segment by segment on our Twitter feed at ATOZ Sports. Make sure you're following us there. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at ATOZ Sports, on Instagram, TikTok, all of the socials. We got stuff going up everywhere. Follow our LinkedIn. I don't know. We got a ton of Titans coverage. Make sure you leave a 5-star Google review for A to Z Sports. Those are extremely, extremely helpful for our website. We got to thank our sponsors for making the show happen and for helping out you all at home. Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. boneandjointtn.org. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all your insurance needs, local and online at bartondrury.com. Boutero Carts, life is short. Buy a golf cart with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Gallatin, boterocarts.com. And Window Nation, buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 for free. Make no payments for 2 years, windownation.com. All right, JT, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of today's show. Kat says, cool hat. Thank you. I appreciate that. I got this at Fleet Feet.
Daniel says we should be the other guys Thursday, which I'm already thinking of a mean edit to make of that movie poster with my face and your face on it. So maybe that's what it is.
That's not the edit that needs to be made. I need an edit of the opening sequence with Austin and Zach's faces on the guys that jump off the roof and then splat on the ground. Appropriately, and then it's you and I taking over the bureau. That's what really needs to happen, and I think we can make that happen. So tune in later today on A to Z Sports. All socials will have that out, I'm sure. I want to talk about why the Titans can't finish, and like I alluded to, I did a lot of research on this yesterday. There's a lot of different ways we're going to approach this today, but we will start with let's go ahead and just ask the question, JT, because I don't want to get into my 5 reasons or any of what I heard from the Titans players quite yet. Before we hear, I want to hear an honest answer from an unbiased answer from our audience as to what they think the biggest reason why the Titans can't finish games in the second half is. So everybody be thinking on that. Get into the comments if you're on Facebook, on YouTube. Be thinking on what you think the number, and there's a number of reasons. I'm sure you have a number of answers, but I want the number one thing you think, the obstacle that is in the Titans' way to finish games this year. Let's start by playing a clip from Jeffrey Simmons. We've got a handful of clips today to share. I think Simmons yesterday put this pretty well as to where this team sees themselves through 2 games, through 8 quarters, and what their biggest issue is. And he doesn't quite answer the question, but he sure does share that they're working hard to answer it. So here's Jeffrey Simmons on the Titans' play so far.
I don't know so much of, that's the Nord talking, but for us, when we're talking about winning football for 4 quarters and not, because we played 8 quarters of football this season, 2 games, and we didn't play 6 good quarters of football, and the last 2 quarters, we haven't played good football. So I think at the end of the day, we just have to be better in the 4th quarter. Like I said, when you turn on the tape, football is good, and we all in this together to try to figure out why we not finish the game in the 4th quarter. Because both of these games we didn't win into, that we didn't play, we didn't been in the game, either up or right there in the game.
So as he says, 8 quarters, 6 decent quarters. The 4th quarters are the outliers, and that's what the Titans are working hard to try to figure out what they need to do to not fall apart at the end of the game. I know that we've already sent the question in the chat, JT, so I'll continue to let that percolate. Again, jump in the chat. Let us know what you think the biggest obstacle in the way for the Titans is to finish games. We're going to read through those, talk through those here in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Window Nation, a new sponsor here on the morning show. They've got a deal that is pretty unbeatable. You can get 2 windows and they'll give you 2 for free, and you make no payments on those windows for 2 years. You won't have to deal with monthly payments, a down payment, or interest until 2027. Now, this deal does end at the end of this month, September 30th. So it's now or never. You got to give them a call. Don't miss out. It's Window Nation's most popular offer. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation. I know our buddy Austin has done this. I'm sure we'll get a review on how that process, that consultation went with him. I'm sure it was a smooth operation. I'm sure that he is excited about the new windows that he'll be getting from Window Nation, and he will be able to give you a personal testimony. Give them a call yourselves at 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Whether you have old and drafty windows or cheap builder grade windows, now is the best time to replace them ahead of winter, ahead of the season where you got to make sure that the house is insulated. You don't want any of the the ghouls and the spooky ghosts coming in during October, and then you don't want any of the cold coming in once winter rolls around. So get some windows at windownation.com.
Yeah, also have to shout out BTA Sports, BTA Better for Betters. Another deal for September. The A to Z Sports September of deals, I guess is what you could call it. You can use code ATOZ when you download the BTA Sports app to get the full season pass for $99 plus a 14-day free trial, only available through September. So basically what? You got 12 days left. You sign up now, 14-day free trial. Listen, I made my money back in a week and a half using their models, and you can too. And if you don't, and you don't like their service, no problem. You can, once again, 14-day free trial. You can just cancel after the end of September. You can use the link in the show description, but I guarantee that you're going to love the models and the insight that BTA has to offer.
Yep, there's Black Friday, there's Prime Day, there's Toyotathon, and then there's the A to Z Sports September season of sales. JT, I'll send you to the chat. What are people saying to our question once more? What is the biggest reason why the Titans can't finish games in the second half? What are the most popular obstacles people are raising in the comments?
Yeah, well, first of all, Bork asks, was there an intense game of ping pong going on off camera? No, it's the new, it's Foursquare now.
It's worse. Yeah.
And Burning Devil says, darn, can barely hear them. Believe me, we also cannot hear them.
That was one of the more intelligible clips, believe it or not.
Correct. We tried to ask Cody Barton yesterday about the matchup going on against Tyler Warren, and I think he gave the most insightful, greatest answer the Titans have ever answered. But
I agree.
I think most people caught on to the bit yesterday when I posted it that you could not hear anything he was saying, and that was the bit. All right, let's get to what the biggest
Love
reason.
Explaining a good bit. Everyone knows the best bits need explaining.
Well, I mean, a lot of people did not pick up on it, so I felt like I need to publicly say it somewhere. Jay Merle starts us off and says, lack of coaching adjustments after half. I think we have a clip for that in a little bit. Rebecca says, bad play calls, which...
We're off to an awfully Callahan start.
Well,
shocking.
Bad play calls, if we're talking about the reason they can't finish, also goes to Denard's side, because I think the defensive side of the ball has also not been able to finish. You see the wheels come off the track when it comes to the run game, when it comes to all of that at the end of games, which I think is almost a bigger problem than what the offense is doing right now at the end of games.
Yeah, we'll continue through these comments, but I want to take a timeout right there. I think that's a great point by you, something that this is not like Callahan apology tour time, but I do find it funny how everybody's opinion of Denard is sterling through 2 weeks, and all of the coaching onus is on Callahan. And anything good that happens with the defense, everybody's like, oh, classic Denard scheming it up. Everything that goes wrong with the defense, it's like Callahan
not managing.
Can't get his house in order. Unbelievable. Yeah. We got to pick. Is it Denard's defense or is it Callahan's defense?
Correct.
What's the deal here? Also, we're about to talk about how some of these bad fourth quarter play calls and can't stop the run and stuff. I think it's lazy and convenient to blame the coaches for those things when the players are the ones trying to do the tackling.
That's also very fair there. Sean continues us by saying they're just simply undisciplined. Tall Texan saying motivation only lasts so long. Talent takes over sooner or later.
Great point.
Bama Brad says the depth is to blame there. Eric says lack of aggressive play calls. Michael says offense. Jeff just says, "Why are you surprised?" That's just straight up right
Not
there.
the question, but all right.
Matthew says penalties a big thing from last year too. Bearded Kunu says young, inexperienced players playing together for the first time. Chris says dropped passes and no pass rush. Richie G also saying play calling. It's again a two-way street there. Caleb says opponents adjustments. Another one there talking about the adjustments. Corey also saying poor halftime adjustments. Poor adjustments is the obvious. So,
okay. All right. So let's start there, and then I want each of us to give our number one answers, and then we'll dive into the 5 reasons that I boiled down yesterday. The adjustments thing. It's been asked of the coaches and the players a lot this week. I asked a question along these lines. We're going to play a clip from Callahan here in just a second. That was in part about adjustments. There was an old clip of Peyton Manning that resurfaced this week from our buddy Justin Mello on Twitter, where it's the Manning cast. I think it was one of the playoff game Manning casts, and he's talking flippantly about all those halftime adjustments. So, and he is making the point that in his 18 Hall of Fame career years in the NFL, he doesn't think he ever made a single halftime adjustment. He said, I went into the locker room, ate some oranges, and then went back out to play. You make adjustments throughout the game. It's not a halftime thing. Now, we did discuss this in the Titans media workroom yesterday, that perhaps the issue here is the Titans have a lack of oranges in the locker room. Worked for Peyton. Maybe as Paul Kaharski, I think, wisely pointed out, this team could be suffering from second half scurvy. So we'll have to investigate that further, but we'll set that aside for now. I hate that the adjustments conversation. I'm not saying that we need to dismiss the adjustments conversation out of hand, because there are certainly moments. There have been moments during Callahan's 19 games that I have noticed teams. I think it's been more other teams' defenses taking away things from the Titans' offense that I've noticed than the inverse of other teams' offenses figuring they like when the Titans' defense has fallen apart so far. And JT, you feel free to disagree with me, but anecdotally, off the top of my head, I feel like in these 19 games, the Titans' defense tends to fall apart. And my reaction is it's because the dam finally broke on something, not that the opponent's offense, may like, oh, they started doing this, or they stopped doing this, and it's working for them, and the Titans defense can adjust. I think with them, it's largely been a execution error. On offense, it's been a mix of the two to me. I think there have been times like in Denver in week 1 this year. There was a moment in the game where they were getting what they wanted up the middle in the A and B gap run game at will. And it led to the closest chance they had to even getting a touchdown in that game. They got down to the 12-yard line, doing mostly that. And then in the second half, when they continued to try it, the Denver defense took it away. And it's like, okay, well, there's an adjustment. That feels relatively tangible. They changed something. I'm a little bit above my pay grade to tell you exactly what they changed, but clearly they changed something to take that away from the Titans. They have to have a counter punch there. But in the Rams game, JT, and I know you watched the All-22 as much as I did this week, they fell apart in that fourth quarter, right? They went into the fourth quarter. There was a minute left in the third quarter, and they were winning the game 16-13. They ended the game. What did they lose by? 12? 13? 14 points? 33-19?
Math is hard.
33-19, 14 points. That's because in the fourth quarter, they largely fell apart. The Rams didn't change anything. So it's funny that this is the week that we're doing the adjustments conversation time. They didn't get out adjusted last week. Point blank, period. They lost that football game. The Rams won it by being better at football. Like, the coaches will tell you that they didn't adjust. Anyone that watched the tape and knows what they're looking at will tell you they didn't adjust. The players will tell you they didn't adjust. The Rams did the same things all game. They were just better at football than the Titans. So I just find that funny that, one, we make it a halftime cover. Oh, it's about halftime adjustments. We've got to take the word halftime out of the conversation, because really more of the adjusting that happens in game happens on the sidelines, not at halftime. Halftime is a procedural thing. Number two, like with each unit, like Callahan and Holtz and the entire offensive staff, there are times in the game where they have more time between series to make adjustments on the surface, on the sideline, than they do at halftime. It's the same process minus the bathroom breaks. So I think that we have a wrong frame of mind, and maybe the Titans media crew needs to just do a full 15-minute unedited, uncut filming Just follow the Titans into the locker room, show what happens, redact what you need to redact, and then show them coming back out so that we can all get it from a reference for the chaos and the inability to really do jack during halftime.
Yeah, I agree a lot with that. I think there's a multitude of different reasons why the Titans have fallen apart. And I guess we can get to my answer here if we want to. I do think that it's not all on the defense, even though that has been a lot of the problem, I think. I like some of the comments here, and I agree a lot with some of these here. Zach Lyons, our friend from over on Cover 2 with 104.5 The Zone, says, can't coach scared in the second half. Team is playing not to lose instead of playing with nothing to lose. And then this comment here as well. Let me see where exactly it is. I can't find it, but I think here it is. Daniel says the defense falls apart because they get exhausted being on the field all the time. And I think that it's the relationship between in the second half, the offense just doesn't seem to find that rhythm that they end up finding in the late first quarter, second quarter so far in these games. I feel like they come out of halftime and the run in the rhythm and the ability to keep that momentum going has not shown up. You've seen a lot of the, whether it is the play calling with Callahan to end the second half or the first half in Denver, whether it is coming out in the third quarter and Cam getting that fumble and setting the Rams up at the 2. Like it is that when you go back to that comment about the dam finally breaking, it's mostly because the Titans finally fumble away an opportunity and give the opponent such good field position that it's almost like it feels like, well, this is just an automatic score for the other team. And then things just kind of continue to spiral from there. And that can be whether it is a mindset thing, whether it's an execution thing. Like if the Titans were able to, once again, come out in the second half, keep ahead of the sticks, which they haven't really anyways, like just finally be able to operate in the early second half, stay ahead of the sticks, stay on schedule, find this rhythm that Cam and Callahan kind of disagreed on this week. Cam said that they felt like they were in a good rhythm. Callahan went back on that and said they didn't really find their rhythm in that disparity between those two press conferences this week, which I thought was interesting. Like they're not gelling as an offense yet. And I think that then lends itself to the defense where, okay, if you're not gelling, you're not sustaining drives. And that gives a team, the opposing team, just so many more opportunities to have gotcha moments where they finally can rip off those big plays. And I think that's a big reason why they have struggled to keep up with the competition in these fourth quarters.
I hear you. I think a lot of the commenters are letting the defense off the hook a little bit. I do. This time of possession thing, like I agree anecdotally. I don't have it right in front of me that the time of possession was probably more lopsided in the second half of these games, and the defense was on the field more. But I mean, I just went and looked. The Broncos outpossessed the Titans full game, 32 to 28 minutes. The Titans outpossessed the Rams point blank last week. They had the ball for more on offense than the Rams did. So is it probably more lopsided in the second halves because it does feel like there were more 3 and outs and the defense was on the field? Sure. But how much more? Not that much more, because the full game, I mean, the Titans didn't have the ball for 23 of the first half minutes. That didn't happen. So it's not like it's super lopsided first half, second half in that way. Mm-hmm. So this exhaustion thing, like the defense is playing 32 or less minutes in the game in these two games. What are our standards? That's not exhaustion time. That's you guys are NFL professionals. It's time to, I think we're going to get to this in a minute. A couple of times, unprompted, a Titans coach and a couple of Titans players have brought up the idea this week of competitive exhaustion. Not a physical thing, a mental thing. What does that mean? How does that pertain to this team? We're going to get to all of that, and I'm going to share my answer in the form of the 5 reasons that I boiled down from yesterday talking to these guys. But first, JT, can you tell our friends about the Bone and Joint Institute?
Yeah, Bone and Joint Institute, BJI, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. boneandjointinstitute.org. They are the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics. The Bone and Joint Institute is located in Franklin with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury whenever you get hurt in life. You have to know who to trust. That's why we trust the Bone and Joint Institute. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you recover in all facets of your injury journey. That includes everything under one roof for your convenience, whether it is the clinicking, testing, imaging, surgery, and rehab. They have it all for you. Don't fumble your recovery. To schedule an appointment, go to boneandjointtn.org.
Need two things from everybody. First, make sure you've liked the show. Not even close to enough likes on the show this morning. So help us out. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. It is free. It is extremely helpful. And then you got to tell you about our friends at BTA Sports, Better for Betters. Use our code ATOZ Sports. Actually, don't use the code. It's harder to use the code. I've done this. Use the link in the description in Facebook, on YouTube. Right below, there's a link. Click it. That's will allow you to sign up with the A to Z free 14 days and then the annual price discount. So check them out. We use them. We love them. They're making us money. BTA Sports dominating the game. All right, JT, let me read off. I'm going to go through, instead of giving my one answer, I'm going to read off my 5 reasons that I boiled down yesterday for an article that I have that's going to have some more context, a number more examples from exact quotes from players, I guess is the best way to say it, that I think are illuminating, that we won't share all of today, but we do have a couple of clips that I want to play. Here are the 5 reasons. Number 1, and a number of people in the comments identified this, and it's the simplest answer. It is also the truest answer. The bad teams and bad players tend to get outclassed eventually on a thin margin for error. When you are a team that is lesser, when you are a team that has a thin margin for error, or even in a number of games last year, the Titans didn't start with a thin margin for error, but because they turned the ball over and did so many harebrained things in the game, special teams continued to be a disaster, whatever it was. They created a very quick thin margin for error for themselves in the middle of the game. You just can't live that way, and the dam tends to break on those things. So bad teams find ways to lose games. That's number 1. I think that's more of an answer as to why they're losing. Now, the next 4 answers are more about not just losing, but going from losing to losing badly in the fourth quarter. Why does it fall apart in the fourth? The next reason, and some people in the comments identified this, and we can talk more about it if you like. A lot of the guys on the roster right now are young and do not know how to handle winning yet. We talk about that in sports, generally speaking, knowing how to handle winning time, knowing how to I think the Chiefs are a great example of this, where last year they were, like 15-1 or whatever in one score games. And we continue to be like, well, it's just, they got guys on that team that know how to win. When it comes time to put up or shut up, they know how to win. And that was a little bit overblown with the Chiefs because there's still a lot of luck involved, but there was a lot of truth to it. That when it comes down to it, the play or 2 plays or 3 plays that must be made to win the game, they made them. And the Titans feel like the inverse of that right now. We can identify in each game, oh man, they played really well. If they hadn't gone 0 for 3 on these 3 plays, these 3 game-defining plays, then they probably would have won. But guess what? They didn't. Like last week, just off the top of my head, if Cam doesn't fumble, and if Xavier Woods makes the tackle for loss and turns the ball over on the Rams' first drive of the game instead of whiffing, and Puka Nacua then turns it into a touchdown, those 2 things alone could have fundamentally changed the outcome of the game. But the Titans don't make those plays right now. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, we talked about the young players in number 2. They don't know how to win. The older players, the guys that have been around for the most part, and this is the one that I think I got the most evidence on from talking to people in the locker room. A lot of these guys just get tight. They do. They get tight as the game starts to slip away, as one bad moment happens, and there is an inclination to allow that to snowball mentally. Bad recent history, maybe at this point you could call it a bad habit for the past 19 games for this version of the Titans. But really, as Nick Suss pointed out in a recent article at the Tennessean, this dates back to 2022 multiple Vrabel years are lumped into this fourth quarters can't play situation. There's just bad history right now with the Titans, and the guys that have been around know it. They've internalized it, and whether it's conscious or unconscious, they get tight when things start to go sideways. And we're going to talk in a minute about how you get over that hump, because how do you fix that, right? That's a really, it's an ethereal, like, it's not a tangible, obvious fix to that right away. So this is the first three things. Number one, bad teams and bad players get outclassed. Number two, young players don't know how to win yet. Number three, older players have formed bad habits and get tight at the end of games. Number four is that this group still, in my opinion, and this is based on talking to as many people as I possibly could the last 2 days about this on the team, both on and off the record. This locker room, specifically the players, still lacks a firmly established leadership foundation that can shepherd them through taking that step. And we're going to play a clip from Cam Ward here in just a minute that I think he gave a really insightful answer as to why this is a player problem, not a coaching problem. So that's number four. And number five, we can't leave the coaching out of this, right? Because a number of the answers were coaching decisions. What I've come to, JT, is that coaching decisions can easily make it harder on the players. Easily. But I don't think there's anything that the coaching staff can do in the short term to acutely force the locker room to learn how to get comfortable with winning. So the coaches can mess it up, but they can't do it for them. Does that make sense? So the coaches can't be the solution, but they can be the problem. And there have been times that they have been the problem. So those are the five reasons. I'll once more recap them very quickly. Number one, bad teams and bad players tend to lose games. They find ways to lose games. Number two, a lot of young players on this team that don't know how to handle winning yet. Number three, old players have bad habits, and bad history leads to them getting tight at the end of games, whether they realize it or not. Number four, this locker room still is working on establishing a foundation of leadership that can shepherd them through getting over this mental hump. And number five, the coaches can't be the solution, but they sometimes are the problem. How do we feel about that list?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you say that list, and then it kind of sounds like 4 out of the 5 are on the players and not the coaches. And when it is the coaches, both coaches are calling a side of the ball. So it's like the blame has to be cut in half yet again there on that one answer. But your answers remind me, and I think it's a good reminder to everyone, that this is the hard part of being patient. This is the suck, I guess you can say. This is once again, and like I think it is very, very just like short-sighted to, like, as Apple Pie-ish says in the chat, he's lost the locker room, and I think he means he as in Brian Callahan.
What is your evidence for that?
Exactly. I think it is very like these are a lot of players that are doing it for the first time, and that some of the players who are veterans have not shown that they can do that for a while. And I think some of the veterans who are showing that they can do it for a while are first time players here in Tennessee. And so yes. I think, and Austin in the chat says he also thinks the Titan big moments one can and is the coaching staff. I think that fair enough. That can also extend to the coaching staff in terms of how they call the second half.
It's definitely fair to say that can be the coaching staff. And I again, I don't want to let the coaching staff off the hook. I want everybody in the comments to understand that number 5 is not to say, well, it's not a soft way of saying, well, it's not the coach's fault. No. I'm saying that if the coaching staff is, even if the coaching staff is perfect at what their job is, they still can't do this for the players. They cannot be the solution to getting over this mental hump because it is a player mental problem. And Cam Ward, you don't have to take my word for it. Cam Ward's going to tell you that explicitly here in about 90 seconds. But they can absolutely be the problem. And so there are times in big moments that I think, we talk about inflection points and not going 0-3 in the plays that mean the game. In week 1, it was very easy to identify the end of half sequence that led to the Broncos getting a score. And there's a lot that happened there. And there's a handful of people who are to blame, but ultimately that falls at the head coach's feet of, you've got to get your team into half. especially when you're the play caller on offense. Got to find a way to do it, right? And he acknowledged that, and we all know that. So that's an example of that being on the coaches. So I think it's fair to say it can be the coaches. But we didn't show Ryan or Austin's comment, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I think it's lazy for people to say that is the coaching, because we go back to this past week, the perfect example. Yes, he says and is. I would push back on Austin for the and is, right? Because the coaches are not fumbling for Cam last week. Denard Wilson put his defense in a position for the safety to crash and make a tackle for loss on that 4th down, turn the ball over and give the Titans the ball early in the game. And Xavier Woods whiffs and it turns into a touchdown because the other safety, Imani Hooker, takes a horrible angle. That's not a coaching thing. That's not a coaching thing at all. Those are two veteran guys who we all know. It's not even they're not teaching those guys right. We think, what's more likely, that Imani Hooker and Xavier Woods, who have a combined 15 years in the NFL, didn't get the right tackling 101 technique in training camp this year, or that they just didn't make a play? What's more likely? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you there. It is blame on both, but I think there is, once again, going back to that idea where we are currently very much in the thick of an 0-2. This is the part that nobody wanted to talk about in terms of being patient, right? Because this is where it is. Austin says the and is very specific. The Ellick elbow could be seen as not being cool in the moment and to actually challenge the call. Fair enough. But yeah, I think this is the trade-off you get for being patient, because I think there is the ability for a lot of these players to eventually get to that leadership style. The young players, I think, eventually, with more time in this season, you'll start to see that turn around. But it's not going to happen for these guys who have only played 2 NFL games. And it certainly is not helping that a lot of the veteran leadership is not showing up. And I think we can point fingers all we want. We're getting to the point where it's like it is on the young guys and the young guys alone, save for like a few faces.
Yeah, well, let's hear from some of the guys that are leaders of this team. We've got 3 clips. You don't have to take my word for it. These 3 clips, I think, do a pretty good job of embodying the answers, of which I got many more than this yesterday. But these 3 kind of summarize where I'm coming from with this list. We'll play Callahan and Cam Ward and Tyler Lockett, all 3 very different perspectives here in just a minute after I tell you about our friends at Boutero Carts. Life is short. Buy a golf cart. If you want a golf cart in your life, and of course you do, golf carts are fun, this is the place you need to go. Boutero Carts has 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and in Gallatin, both right around the Middle Tennessee area. So there's going to be one within driving distance of you. 0% financing for 36 months. That's 3 years for those of you counting at home. Carts starting at $6,700. They're open every day of the week. Full service sales and rental dealerships, locally owned and operated right here in Middle Tennessee. No dealer fee, no credit card fees, no credit needed option. The carts are stored indoors, kept in pristine condition. Life is short. Buy a golf cart from our friends at Boutero Carts.
Also have to shout out BTA Sports, where insight meets instinct. Got to check them out, because once again, I shared this stat yesterday, Easton. The BTA guys had, I guess now, 9 games where the books had one line and BTA's line was different by 5 points or more. Do you want to know what they went in terms of covering those different spreads by 5 points or more in the opposite direction?
Let's hear it.
7 out of 9, which is pretty good.
I believe that's making money.
That is definitely making money. I think the 2 that did not end up cashing were the Cowboys and the Bucks, but the other ones, they were nails on the rest, and they certainly made me money this past weekend, and they can make you money too. Use our code ATOZ when you download the app, or use the link in the description for a full season pass for $99 plus a 14-day free trial.
All right, let's start with an answer from Cam Ward. This is the shortest clip that we have, and this was I asked him this question about what he thinks the team needs to do to get over the hump in the 4th quarter. Pay attention to what he says, because there's a part of this that I think was pretty illuminating, and when I went into the locker room after we spoke with him, I continued to hear this sentiment echoed.
I just think we got to continue to play hard. at times when it's a low first or in the end of the game, whatever quarter it is, there could be a low there. But we just got to continue to fight through it. And that's something that, a coach can't coach you. You got to come in the locker room. We just got to continue to get better.
Coach can't coach that. It's got to come from the locker room. That is my opinion on the matter. That is the quarterback of the team's opinion on the matter. That is most of the locker room's opinion on the matter. Not to spoil a lot of the answers that I got, but not once did I hear, well, if these coaches would put us in a better position. And you say, well, of course they don't say that. Well, I was talking to a lot of these guys off the record, and so they were free to speak their minds, and that wasn't even something that was intimated. And these guys spoke pretty candidly about a number of these things. The coaches have to help us out. That was not an element of this. So whether you think that's still them protecting the coaches or not, I think that at the very least there's your little evidence of it's week 3. Whatever you think of Callahan and the coaching staff, you may think that they are the worst coaches in the league. That's fine. They have not lost their locker room. Not yet. Because when a locker room is lost, I promise it comes out. We will, if it happens this year, there will be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday saga of our media lives and on Twitter where it's like, whoa, all right, well, there it is. Hard to miss that, right? And we'll all be talking about it because when it happens, I mean, these players, they speak their minds. They speak their minds. This next clip is from Brian Callahan on Monday. The answer is a little bit about adjustments. So I guess that kind of plays into this a little bit, but he's also talking about finishing games. Here's what he had to say.
That's a layered question. There's a lot you can probably go, a lot of directions you can take that. I do think we've been in both the games, with time late in the third, early in the fourth. Like every good game in the NFL is, they're all within a score as you approach the fourth quarter, most of them. And there's a lot of things that go into it. It's hard to necessarily pin it all down on one particular thing, but we haven't played well enough in the fourth quarter, and have to find a way to continue to play a little bit better, a little bit longer than we have at the moment. And that comes in. There's coaching involved in that. There's execution involved in that. Those things all have to find a way to improve, and haven't done it yet, and we have to find a way to do it.
Do you think the idea of in-game adjustments or the criticism of you guys' inability to do that is fair or overblown?
I mean, I think I've kind of jumped down this road before with what that looks like. I mean, those adjustments are ongoing. It's constant. Very rarely. I mean, halftime feels like it's about 5 minutes long by the time you get in there and make any adjustments that you haven't made yet. Really, we're adjusting in between every series. We're going through the looks that we got the series before, what the next calls are that are coming up, where we want to head, what direction, how they're playing us, how do we counteract it. Those things are sort of ongoing conversations. I've always been a huge believer in this halftime thing. It's very much overblown in terms of what you can accomplish in that short amount of time that you don't already accomplish in the conversations in between series. I mean, that's really where the adjustments happen, is in between series. They're a lot more immediate than waiting for halftime to make an adjustment, I think. So anytime you don't perform in those moments, though, you're open for criticism, and I understand that. So, but I would say that it's not necessarily a halftime adjustment thing. That's constantly happening throughout the course of the game.
One more clip before we ask our next question, which I think is going to be an interesting conversation because we're going to have some split opinions, I'd imagine. This is a clip from Tyler Lockett. And of all the guys I talked to in the past 2 days about this, two of the guys whose insight I found the most interesting were Tyler Lockett and Quandre Diggs. JT, can you guess why that is?
Because they were on the Seahawks?
Well, yeah, because they're old. They've been around a while. But more importantly, they have a lot of experience elsewhere on a team that has killer instinct and can finish games, right? We know that they have been we've been in a number of locker rooms that are that way. Who else on this team is that way? Jeff and Amani were young players on teams that had it, but they were pretty young. Cody Barton on the 2024 Broncos. Was that a killer instinct team?
Xavier Woods on the Panthers last year.
Right. So it's a thin list, and that's the conversation we're gonna get to in a minute.
I guess Snead.
Maybe hold that thought. We're gonna get to that here in a minute. Who actually has killer instinct on this Titans roster? We'll ask the question in the chat here in just a second. So be thinking on that because I want to discuss it to finish the show. But here is what Tyler Lockett had to say about adjustments in finishing games.
I think adjustments are basically another game plan, a game within a game, right? Like you got your game plan going into a game, and then you got your game plan at halftime. And I think that even when you look at our game, like I still think that we did a great job being able to move the ball, still being able to do some of the stuff. The hard part is like we can't get penalties on 2nd and 3rd down. That's going to put us from 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5 to now we're at 3rd and 9, or now we're at 3rd and 11. It's very hard against a good defense to be able to get a 3rd down in 10 plus and to continue on with the drive. And I think even in meetings, we found out in these last 2 games that we've played, we had 19 3rd and like 10 pluses. And so that's what's really hurting us, and that's what is causing us not to be able to get over the hump, because if we can be able to get to the 3rd and manageables, then we could be able to open up our playbook. But once you get to that 3rd and 10 plus, now the defensive ends are licking their chops. The D tackles are licking their chops, because now they know, hey man, it ain't gonna be no run. Like the only thing we gotta look for is maybe a screen. So we gotta be able to do better on those 3rd downs, just to be able to put us in a better situation where, okay, it's 3rd and 4, maybe we run the ball because they're expecting some type of pass. But we can't even get to that point yet because we're doing pre-snap penalties, and that's what's really shooting us in the foot. And you can't do that against 2 playoff teams that we just played.
So how do the Titans get over this hump? Right? We have identified, at least you and I and the players and the coaches, so whatever the chat thinks is neither here nor there at this point. We have agreed that this is in game getting over the hump mentally. It's a thing that the players have to solve. The coaches can get in the way of it, but the players have to do it. How? That brings us to killer instinct and who has it and who doesn't. Because this is one of the most common things that came out of the mouths of these players when I talked to them yesterday was it's a culture thing. I asked them what can you do? What actual things can you guys do as a leader, as a young guy, whoever I'm talking to change this? And it's hard to put their finger on what exactly it is, but they kept coming back to it's a culture thing, it's a leadership thing, it's a culture thing, it's a leadership thing. So who is a leader who can change the culture of the rest of the team? And that brings us to Cam. Cam, in my opinion, is this team's saving grace, obviously, as the good player at quarterback doing the good things on the field. We know that's the way that has to be for the Titans to turn it around. It's the way that the NFL works. But even more than that, Cam's mentality, his killer instinct that I'm not sure anybody on the planet would argue he doesn't have, has to spread, because there isn't a lot of it on this roster. And I want to talk through who we think does and doesn't have true killer instinct, closing, finishing ability. If you've watched any sport, you know who has it and who doesn't. Did you lose me for a minute? Hello?
Yes, you're back.
I'm
Cool.
back now. Did you hear what I just said about the Supreme Court?
No.
Okay. I said
That's wild. Would not have guessed that was the next thing that was going to come out of your mouth.
okay. So what I was saying was, any of us that have watched any sports, it's relatively easy to tell who has killer instinct and who doesn't, right? It's the Supreme Court's definition of pornography. I know it when I see it, right? That's true. That's the thing that happened. Go look it up. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like killer instincts, it's hard to exactly identify, like to explain what it is, but it's easy to be like, that guy has it, that guy doesn't. And if you go through this Titans roster right now, not to be disrespectful to anybody, I don't think it's a super long list.
Yeah.
And I think the last time that the Titans had a great team, we can argue, was that 2020, 2021, 2022, they had a lot more of these guys that were clearly killers. So I'm going to ask this question in the chat. Who on this current Titans roster really, besides Cam, because I think we all agree on that, really has a killer instinct? Why, JT, you tell our friends about Barton Drury Insurance Group.
Yeah, the Barton Drury Insurance Group. As I pull it up here, customized solutions for all your insurance needs, bartondrury.com. They are truly a one-stop shop for both your personal and business insurance, including our friends over here like Austin and Zach, who felt about their buying experience from them. They felt very good with it because they have a number of employees all across the country covering many different sports teams. And they have a number of different options and plans, responsiveness, and their experience with the service team was so good with the knowledge and expertise that they had because of all the different types of plans that they need to get for our business here at A to Z Sports. They sell everything from employee benefits to 401k planning, life insurance, workers' comp, liability, auto, property, umbrella, and surety bonds, all of your insurance needs. They are local and strive to provide excellent service, but also they want to take the time to make sure someone understands their insurance policies. Once again, that's bartonjury.com.
Go check out our friends at BTA Sports, better for betters, dominating the game with BTA Sports. That's what we've been doing. Use our code in the description. Use the link in the description. It's the easiest way to sign up for a 14-day free trial. We got a great deal for you with BTA Sports here at A to Z Sports, and they're going to be a great deal for you as a bettor to make money and be informed when you're placing those bets. Check them out, BTA Sports, dominating the game. JT, I'll send you to the comments. Who or what are people saying the Titans list of true killers? What does that look like?
Yeah, let's see. Darren says kinda Amani Hooker, which I think
I don't know, man.
So maybe silent, but
yeah, to me, Amani Hooker is a phenom role player, but he is not an alpha in that way.
Yes.
Kevin Byard was his alpha in that, those two were a room together. There's a reason why we were talking about them as the best tandem safety in the league there for a minute, because they had an alpha, and I'm not sure there is that guy.
Yeah, Charlie says Restrepo, so we're just going to move on from that there. Jonathan says Cam, Big Jeff, and Jarvis Brownlee are his three there that he believes. Paul says Jeff Pollard, although he is influenced by the offensive line a lot. Cam, Snead, and Barton. He has shown leadership and accountability for all players. Does that mean killer instinct, though?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm not sure Paul has the same definition of killer instinct as what I'm talking about, because to me, these are guys that know how to clutch up on the money downs, know how to clutch up in the fourth quarter. Their heart rate does not go up. Their mistakes do not come when it's put up or shut up time. And those 2 or 3 or 4 plays a game where the game is turned on that play, they are likely to show up, not shrink. That's what killer instinct is to me.
Yeah, Darius says Brownlee. Once again, by that definition there, with the penalties and things like that, can you really say that?
I mean, he's a killer out there, no doubt. But does he have the killer instinct?
Does he know when to do it?
Yeah, I don't think. And to be clear, like, I don't think any guy we talk about today that we're like doesn't have it. That's not to say that they just like. That's not the verdict for their life. I think that guys, especially young guys like Brownlee, can develop a killer instinct, but he does not strike me as somebody that is that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's see who else. Pastor Raymond Little says Cam, Cody, Snead, and Jeff. I think that's once again not a lot of similar answers there. Jeff says Kevin Winston Jr., who we have not even seen yet on the field.
He is projecting killer instinct. Fair enough,
yes.
Man.
Kenneth says Big Jeff and Cam, probably it. Once again, like
I'm not sure Big Jeff has killer instinct.
That was where I was going. Like I have a hard time saying at this point Jeffrey Simmons has killer instinct.
Jeffrey Simmons is the best player on this team, and he's an incredible specimen. He's a top 5 defensive tackle, no question, in the NFL. I'm not taking anything away from Jeff, but Jeff's the kind of guy where we talk about, he's likely in any given game to make the 4 best defensive plays of the game and also commit 1 or 2 kind of back-breaking or boneheaded penalties or mistakes or whatever it is that you're like, if he wasn't a great player, we'd be mad about that, but it is what it is. I'm not saying he for sure doesn't have killer instinct, but he's not a no-doubter in my mind. Like, he's not somebody where I look at him and I'm like, that guy has it. I'm not sure about that.
Justin's got one right up your alley here. Io Manor, killer. Like, that's a guy that I feel like has already shown, like, to come up in the biggest moments and execute what he needs to do.
Put a pin in that one.
Put a pin in that one? All right. Here's another one. Ryan says Joey Sly being nails from everywhere. He has killer instinct to hit those 60-plus yarders.
Pre-2025, there's a lot of evidence to argue he has no killer instinct. But in the year of our Lord 2025, I can't build a case so far against him. So
Yeah, so I think that those are the big ones that we're seeing mostly. Cam, a lot of people are pushing back and saying that Jeff does have it. Snead, Barton, and there still are a couple people who are saying that Hooker does, by saying Hooker plays with 100% every single snap, which I think is fair. But once again, does that translate?
What's your favorite Amani Hooker big play and a big moment play? You know?
Yeah. Wasn't he the one who recovered the fumble in the first game against the Saints 2 years ago?
Sure. Right place, right time. Well done. Yeah. So I'll kind of go through my list. Cam, obviously. I think Jeff is a borderline guy. If the chat's arguing for it, let's be generous with the list. Sure. All right. Jeff's on the list. I don't think Hooker is. One guy that's really obvious to me, and you can be like, well, who cares? It's not even necessarily a starter. Quandre Diggs has it. Quandre Diggs has killer instinct. Now, how impactful is that on the team at this point? You can figure that out for yourselves. But he's an example of a guy that has it. I'm not sure that Tyler Lockett or Kevin Zeitler have it, but I know that they at least know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. So those are guys that are kind of on that list for me.
So what about Skoronski?
I think Skoronski has it behind that teddy bear facade of his. I do. He's not. As he pointed out to me yesterday, he's like, I've not been on a whole lot of very good teams in my entire football career. Because he played at Northwestern, and I don't know where he played at high school, but I guess they weren't very good either. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience as a killer, but he does come up big in the big spots to me on the tape. So I think that he has the possibility of having it. The guy that I think is the second, no doubt, like behind. So Cam, most killer instinct on the team to me. The guy that's number 2 is Snead. For all of your questions about his game and his health and when it comes to killer instinct, big spot guy, L'Jarius Snead is that guy here. He has that instinct. Now, recently, his body has betrayed him, and he's not been able to physically play up to that level. But I listen, if you ask anybody on that coaching staff or anybody in that locker room to list their guys with killer instinct, Snead comes up in the first 10 seconds of that conversation. He does. But that's kind of the list, right? So Cam and Snead and
maybe Jeff.
And like Diggs, but he's a role player, and Skoronski, but he's a guard, and Lockett and Zeitler, but that's a guard and a role player. It's not great. Now let's go back and we don't have to formally ask this question to the chat, but chat, just start rattling off guys from the prime Vrabel years that were obvious, no doubt killer instinct guys. Because when I went back and was kind of flipping through those rosters yesterday, the killers were all over the place. They were all over the place. Like I pulled up I think this is the 2021 roster, right? It's like Julio Jones, what he was at that point in his career was another thing health wise, but obviously Julio Jones is a killer in the NFL. AJ Brown, there's no question about that. Taylor Lewan, no question about his ability.
Byard as well.
Byard, Roger Saffold, and Ben Jones embodied killer instinct on the offensive line. Derrick Henry, obviously, still killing people in the NFL. Danico Autry had it. I think Prime Hero Landry had it. The list was easy to identify. Yeah, Zachary, Byard, Brown, Henry, Saffold, Lewan, Landry. It was not, and I think this is like, now we're getting really meta. A big part of the reason why the team didn't go further than they did in those years is because Ryan Tannehill didn't quite have it by himself. But he was a guy, I think Ryan Tannehill had killer instinct the way that Brock Purdy currently has killer instinct, where when the guys around him who are killers are in phase and they have faith in him, when AJ Brown and Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel, because Mike Vrabel obviously had killer instinct, right? There's no doubt he inspired the rest of his team in that way. He was infectious in that way. When those three guys had the ultimate faith in Ryan Tannehill and he was at his peak, and we're like, Ryan Tannehill, is he the best in the entire league at turning his back to a defense, running play action, and putting the defense in ultimate conflict because he has AJ Brown over here and Derrick Henry right here, and they don't know what to do with it? Then he kind of had it by symbiosis. The same way that I think Brock Purdy right now, when he's got his gang rolling, Brock Purdy's a killer. Now, if you plopped Brock Purdy onto this roster or the Panthers roster, I don't know exactly how much killer instinct he's bringing to the table. Him and his boot stomping, line dancing Levi jeans aura that he has. But that's kind of the point that I'm making. And we're seeing some other names: Logan Ryan, Kenny Vaccaro, absolutely. Aziz Al-Shaair. We're going all the way back to Nate Washington, Jarrell Casey. See, and so this is what it is. It's easy to identify these guys that have it. And on this Titans team right now, it's a short list. Now, the last thing I have to say, and JT, you can share your final thoughts, and then we can move on to trivia and finish today's show. Delaney Walker, by the way, no doubt about that. The hope, the light at the end of the tunnel here is that I think the Titans have a lot of young guys that have it, and they can be the leadership foundation that is currently growing, currently just in their youngling stage of growing up and being leaders in this locker room. But Cam and Alec Iamaner and Chim Dike and Gunnar Helm, I mean, that's just the offense. I think those guys have it. And I think the coaching staff will tell you those guys have it. And so that's the encouraging thing here, that if they can arrive as players on the field, they have the right mentality to, as young guys, get past number 2 on my list of things, learning how to win. It's going to come eventually. They're not going to lose every game this year. News alert. They will win a game, at least. I'll go ahead. I'll say it. They'll win a game. And when that happens, can these guys start to get that ball rolling for the Titans? I think there's a decent chance because I think they have the right stuff up here.
Yeah, and you go to the defensive side as well. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., we have that conversation that he has the potential to have those, but isn't there yet. You talk about who else? I was going to say someone else on the defense, and Kevin Winston, I think, is a big one. Once again, we haven't seen it yet, but you saw it in college.
Yes.
Year and a half removed though from that, but I think the potential is there as well. So there are guys on both sides of the ball, maybe more offense than defense, and who knows what Femi Oladejo is. I think that's still just like a mystery box. we'll open it and see what happens there. But yeah, I think once again, it is the suck within the patience that is we're currently in. And I think that's the most important part, that it takes time and you need these guys to continue to get reps before you see these guys fully blossom into that killer instinct. Once again, Derrick Henry, first 2 years, I don't think you'd call that killer instinct. No, and I think people, once again, like, are we, and yet he is the number 1 guy on most people's list that we just listed off, but it was 2 years of not having that.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we stay patient and give them at least, now it doesn't seem like people want to give them 2 years to get to that killer instinct, but
they don't want to give them 2 weeks.
Yeah, we don't want to give them 2 weeks. Let's give them 4 more games, maybe to see that, I guess. Sure. If we want to, if we're going to continue to,
let's get to the bye.
To the bye? Yeah. If we're going to continue to micro analyze this, this type of thing. So,
all right. You want to do some trivia?
Yeah, let's do trivia.
All right, that's our show on a Thursday. Now all there is to do is to break the land speed record in sports trivia. Got to tell you about our friends over at WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Check them out. Make them part of your new car buying process. WilsonCountyHyundai.com or in person in Lebanon, Tennessee. JT, do we have the trivia ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hit it. Smooth transition.
Wow, there you go. Do we have an over-under?
It's nice. It's good to have.
Wait, what'd you say?
We have the MLB corner for a JT Trivia Thursday, which is good news. All right. We know the drill. We start with the NFL. We go counterclockwise. Chat box, I'm going to need your help. We do have an over-under.
Yeah. Yesterday, our over-under was, he was not giving me and Austin any faith. We went 5.5. That
was the over-under?
Yes. So now we're back down to 4. No, we went 9 of 9, and we even hit a under of 4.5. I think it was like 4. I think it was like 420 or something like that. So
nice. Well, we have our work cut out for us today to not let the book win. We ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Here we go.
NFL tight end Ben Coates caught 50 touchdowns and made 5 Pro Bowls with this AFC team from 1991 to 1999.
Little before my time. Chat.
Before I was born.
Chat. Help.
Ben Coates.
Patriots. Let's make sure. Let's get verification. Somebody else. Anybody?
Do we
Pats.
Okay, there we go. What is the state capital of Connecticut? I know
Um,
this.
Hartford.
Hartford. Why? I don't know why I was thinking like Frankfurt or something. Okay. Television. Debuting in 2016, the cult favorite sitcom Letterkenny is set in this country. That's Canada.
You know that one.
How are you now? Good, and you? Oh, not so bad. Movies. This woman was a Best Supporting Oscar for. This woman won a Best Supporting Oscar for the 2003 war film Cold Mountain and a Best Actress Oscar for the 2020 biopic Judy.
I have never heard of Judy. I've heard of Cold Mountain, but I've not seen it.
I have seen neither of these and don't know. Wait, Nicole Kidman? I don't think I.
Biopic Judy? I guess it is Nicole Kidman. All right. Sure.
You going Kidman?
Everyone in the comments says Kidman.
Okay. Nicole Kidman. Ripping it?
Rip it.
No.
Chat, you lose. Next question.
Music. A top 10 hit on the end of year Hot 100 of 2011. Christina Aguilera was featured on this Maroon 5 song.
Moves like Jagger.
Grocery products. In packaging with a light blue bottom, Carb Smart is a variety of products from this ice cream brand.
Oh. I can picture it.
People are saying Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, probably is. We'll keep
No.
that in mind. Carb Smart. Is it Purity? Is it Briar? Okay, Briars. People are saying Briars. That feels right.
Briars? How do you spell that? Okay. MLB. Since 2000, what franchise has brought home the most American League Cy Young awards?
Hmm.
I want to say the Astros is what comes to mind
Sure.
first.
I don't think anyone's going to know at the top of their head, so.
Edward says, you calling out the chat for being wrong. We're just trying to help. Yes, but you're supposed to be right.
Just to help us with right answers.
I'm going to go. Cleveland was also one on my mind. And that they've had more recently. So he'd say, once again, the chat, maybe I don't talk to the chat because he just said, I say Dodgers. Did you hear the question?
American League. Here we go. Just go with your gut.
I think it's Astros or it's Cleveland.
Your call, baseball boy.
I'm going to go with the more recent. I'm going to go Guardians or Indians. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
College football. This Washington Huskies wide receiver caught 17 touchdowns from Jake Browning in 2016 before becoming a first-round pick.
Huh.
Oh, I know this. Is it Bengals legend John Ross? He was a Washington Husky.
Oh, was it Ross? I think
Right
it
around
was
there.
Ross.
John Ross?
Yeah. Mr. Speed.
All right, John Ross. We'll go. I think it is.
I think you're right.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Oh.
Whoa.
On the inside, is that Drew Barrymore?
Sure.
I think.
Okay.
And then on the outside,
It looks like a Neil Patrick Harris type haircut there. Oh,
instinct was Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul, but his jowls look older than Bob Odenkirk.
yes.
So I don't think that's actually him.
Drew Barrymore. Hayden says Kiefer Sutherland. Who is that?
Who is that? Okay, people say sure, Kiefer Sutherland. Y'all got to tell me who that is.
How do I spell that?
Just search Sutherland. Was that right?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Okay, so what was it? Zoe?
No, it's Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger. Okay.
All right.
Well,
the overhit, unfortunately. Who is
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland? Who is that?
who have you never seen 24?
Oh, is he the lead in 24? Okay. I've always been
What is
told
24?
it was a really popular procedural and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a detective thing. It was
I need to see a picture of this guy.
It was kind of unique in the sense that it was a 24-hour period and each episode was 1 hour. It was kind of like The Pit did with this year's thing.
I'm sorry, chat. You can't tell me. I have no idea who this guy is.
Oh, wait. Oh, where's hang on. How do I go back to the
I don't know.
There. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
I've
no
seen the
idea who that
guy.
is.
And if I'd seen 24, I'm sure I'd know who it was. But haven't. So
Oh, well. All right. Well,
Kiefer Sutherland, one hit wonder. I'm
Yes.
accusing him of something. I have no idea what else he's been in.
Titan Game Day Live.
Hey, that's going to be a blast this weekend.
Yes.
For real, y'all can come out anytime. Obviously, come for the Titans game. The pregame, halftime, and postgame shows will be live on the stage at the Land Shark Bar. You're going to walk in off of the street on Broadway into Margaritaville, and then you're going to be like, where are these guys? Walk straight in, past the lady that's trying to seat you, say, I'm not trying to sit down here, and go to the staircase on your right. Go up there, and you will find us. It is incredible. I was blown away by the screen setup that they have. It's going to be the spot to watch all Sunday, really. I mean, I think I'm going to do my work there and then enjoy Sunday Night Football there most weeks. So it's going to be a blast. Come hang out. Going to be a good time. Titans Colts this weekend. It'll be Austin and I on the morning show tomorrow to finish out the week. Buck Rising on prime time tonight. Same place, same time tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday.